What's up guys, Greg here with LensProToGo and Lens Rentals, and today I have another cinematography lighting breakdown for you. Recently I was on a shoot with New Sky Productions and we were shooting a white cyc backdrop similar to the style of the Mac vs PC commercials. That was sort of our inspiration. So let me roll a quick cut of the commercial that we shot and then we'll get into the breakdown.
An ad for adopting Siberian Huskies and an ad for adopting Husky Siberians are not the same thing.
You know adopt Vlad? She's licking face.
WordStream. Online advertising made easy.
Awesome, so before we get into the behind the scenes and looking at the lighting and the whole setup, let's talk about the camera that we were using. We shot on the REDCode W in 8K. We shot with an 8:1 compression ratio. Our white balance was 5600 Kelvin and we were at 400 ISO. We shot on the Sigma Cine primes, mostly the 50 and 35, but we did have the 24 and 85 available. The 50 and 35 just worked better for the space that we were in. We shot these at a T4 and we used no sort of filtration, so no NDs and no special effects filters. Now let's jump into the wide behind the scenes shot. So here we are showing the whole setup. Up above we have 4 different space lights. These were Mole Richardson LEDs, about 400 watt equivalents, but I would recommend something else because these have had some problems since this shoot. They've burnt out quite a bit, so I think they're going to be swapping them in their future setups. And then to add a little bit of dimension to our talent, we had another light over here. Let me jump to a different shot so you can see it a little better. So this light right over here is a 1x2 light panels Gemini, which is a pretty cool light. It's basically an RE Sky panel, but a little bit cheaper. It gets you all the same features. It gets you your bicolor LEDs as well as all of your RGBs, so it's pretty fantastic and versatile. Again, here you can see 2 of the space lights that we have just hung overhead, and these are just giving us a really soft overall flat lighting for the whole backdrop and our talent, and that's why we bring in this other light, is to add a little bit of dimension. So if we jump over to the actual shot that we're getting, you can see we're having a really nice wrapping falling off light coming from the left side. So we're having a little bit brighter over here and then it falls off to shadows on this side. And this is the same for both of our talent. So you can see a little bit brighter here and then falls off to shadow on this side. If we didn't have that Gemini 1x2 just outside frame shooting through that 8x frame, we'd get a very flat light and we wouldn't have any sort of dimension in the faces. The placement of our talent is really important as well. So we had 4 overhead lights, and to utilize those to the most, besides just creating an overall flat light for the background and a ambient lift basically in the room, what we did was place them in between 2 of them. So they're like right in the center, and that's giving us a really nice rim light. You can see it a lot in his hat here, and giving us some really good separation between our subject and our background. Besides this wide shot with the full body, we also did tights or medium shots of both of our talent. It's basically the same. We've moved the camera in now. We're still on the 50mm and we're getting that tighter frame like you can see on the back of the monitor. And just to soften up that light even a little bit more and make it more flattering for the face, we brought in this 4x diffusion and we just put that right overhead, right outside of camera. And that's softening up this light right here, so we're not getting any hard shadows on the nose or from the hat or any odd shapes on the face. Like I was saying, we have our subject placed here, and then he is directly in between both of these lights. So we have our subject right here with the space light right behind him, giving him that nice rim light that you can see on his hat and on his shoulders. And then going into the actual shot, you can see what that 1x2 Gemini is doing. So sending a majority of our key light from the left side going across frame right, and we're falling off into shadow on the right side. Just adds a little bit of dimension instead of being so flat from having that total ambient lift from the space lights. We're also getting some really nice eye lights, one from the 4x frame that's right above him, and then the one on the side over here is from the 8x8 with the Gemini light shooting through it. And while we were set up in this one, we also did a tight of our other talent, and it's basically the same thing. So you can see we're getting a really nice hair or rim light on our head, and then we're getting that nice fall off from key side over here into the shadow side with some really nice eye lights. Overall, just a really clean and bright image, which is what we were going for. So just to recap, we have 4 space lights overhead, and these are all balanced to 5600 Kelvin, which I think I forgot to mention before. And then we have our 1x2 Gemini over here, also balanced to 5600 Kelvin. And that's shooting through this 8x frame, which is giving us a really nice soft wrapping light on our talent. And that's what we have for our wide setup. Going over to our tight shot, all we did was add in this 4x silk, and then we made sure our talent was placed in between the space lights that were overhead, so we're getting a nice rim light from this one up here, and then now we're having the other one be our key light with the Gemini shooting from the side and giving us that nice soft wrapping light. And that's pretty much it. It's a really simple setup, but it's super great because you can do anything you need to in that area on the white cyc and not have to worry about setting up and doing too many build-ups and breakdowns or moving lights around too much, which will allow you to shoot more because you won't have to be fussing around with gear. Hopefully you got something out of this video, and if you did, make sure to hit that like button. If you have any questions or comments, leave those in the comments below. And in the description box, I'll have links to all of New Sky's videos, the full videos that we cut together, as well as all of the gear that I talk about in this video. If you guys want to see more just like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button for new videos every single week, and I'll see you in the next one.